Following a disappointing ending to the 2032 season, being eliminated by the Kansas City Royals, we've got some moves to make, not just replacing the first base coach, which we will attempt to do so with Tommy Watkins, who gives us some greater ability with arm strength, accuracy, and durability. But we also have some fan favorites that are unfortunately going to become free agents. Jasson, who spent time here since 2024 being traded from Miami, is going to become a free agent. Whether we bring him back or not is really up in the air. He's 35 years old and he is starting to regress. Actually, he's been regressing for about the past 2 years, but he's still been a quality player. Kevin Fader is the individual I am looking at to maybe play first base and maybe move Spencer Jones from first to the outfield yet again, as he seems to just go back and forth at this time, and he was a World Series champion with the 2029 Chicago Cubs. Should have won the World Series MVP, but you know how this game does the World Series MVP. It's kind of janky. Tommy Watkins will accept the offer from our Yankee squad for a 4-year deal to be the first base coach. Quinn Matthews is the first free agent signed off the board. 3 years, near $75 million, coming off a 3.8 ERA. Brian Zitlo, the former first-round pick of the White Sox, goes to the Phillies on a bomb deal. 8 years, $190 million. I feel like he should make more than that as one of the youngest free agents of all time. But Pablo Esposito is going to get seemingly that deal, doubling up that money. 99 overall, 24 years old, coming off a near 40 and 100 RBI season. 12 years, $411 million. We bring back reliever Frederick Dunning and Mason Barnett just to really bolster that bullpen room. We've offered arbitration to certain individuals, some of which you have seen thus far in this series. Kevin Fader, we're going to finally get an opportunity to offer him a contract, and we might be getting a discount here, even at the price we may be looking to sign him, which, 3 years, $9.4 million, that's a borderline starter. He's just not convinced that he wants to sign yet, despite the extra money and extra security in said contract. Oliver Nunez, the former former Angels closer, is going to sign with the White Sox. 3 years, $36 million. I think he's one of those next great closers in the game. Drew Gilbert is going to sign with the Braves, 3 years, $90.7 million, which I think means that Michael Harris is out of Atlanta. And he is. He will go to Milwaukee on a 4-year, $80 million deal. Josh Young also re-signs with the Rangers for $18 million. Jackson Chourio is leaving Milwaukee and going to the Pittsburgh. 6 years, $163 million. I think that's probably the richest contract in Pirates history. William Contreras is going to close out his career seemingly in Miami. 2 years, $30 million. Andrew Painter goes from the Phillies to Detroit. 5 years, $138.2 million, as they look to get back to a World Series yet again. Royce Lewis also leaving Minnesota, going to Cleveland. Staying in the Midwest, 3 years, $64.2 million. I think that's a discount to get a 90 overall player at $20 million per. We're going to go back to the negotiating room. As you see, we've got 90 some odd million to spend. So, y'all know I don't care about budget. We will offer him just a little bit more, and he will come to a decision and decline it yet again. All right, well, maybe we got to look in another direction if we want a guy to play first base, if we're not bringing back Jazz Chisholm to play outfield. So we get another opportunity a week later, and we offer him I think quite literally the same contract, because we're offering you almost $2 million more than what you want. Brian Abreu's still on the free agent market, and Fader looks around the market and realizes ain't no better place to play than in pinstripes here in New York at Yankee Stadium. You take a look at our lineup as of right now. Bunning, Judge, Jones, Dominguez, Hernandez. We're going to send him down to AAA just because we have a logjam in the outfield, and because Ullman has played well, I kind of have to, somebody's got to suffer in a sense. He's still going to get paid. Andy Pages And the hardest working woman in all of sports, Stephanie Saunders, represents every player in Major League and Minor League Baseball, is offering us Andy Pages, who honestly hasn't had a decent season in, 6 years, 2027. We're not going to offer him anything. Bruno Hernandez is a guy that's just floating out there and I'm going to assume has been in the minors and had a cup of coffee with the Angels. A literal cup of coffee, 3 ABs, 1 hit, 1 RBI, 1 walk, 333 average. We're going to sign him because if we need a first baseman and we get a little desperate maybe in the middle of the season, we will call him up. He's got a decent bat in his hands, as the Cleveland Guardians are your defending World Series champions. Blue Jays, Royals, Cardinals are the top 3 odds for the first pick in the draft. And when we simulate, we shall see that the Blue Jays will stay at number 1. Cardinals move up 1. Royals move down 1. Everything else is set in stone and never moved at all. Rule 5 draft. I haven't found the player that I really like there in a couple years, so it's okay. We won't touch on it. Jazz Chisholm, we're going to offer him a 1-year deal to spend a 9th season in pinstripes, and he is going to accept. So maybe we don't even sign Fader. No, we already have Fader. That means we still have a logjam in the outfield, but Brian Abreu is going to travel down I-95 to Baltimore, possibly to be the Orioles closer, more than likely the setup man, as I believe Felix Bautista is still there. Gavin Williams signs 3 years, nearly $60 million with the Tigers. Jose Butto signs with the Twins. CJ Abrams, 3 years, $46 million, leaving Washington, going to Milwaukee. James Pickett having another, coming off another great season. And I think we have a bit of a logjam at catcher. Pickett is obviously the starter for now, but Quinones, according to many, is the better player. And Maurice Robert is just way too good defensively for me to not have a backup first baseman. I think he can handle it at first. Like, the taxation on your body is not as much at first as it is at catcher. He's not a good hitter, but we will take what we can get from him. Some arbitration numbers as some guys get paid just a little bit more money. And as you can see, Aaron Judge is 53 home runs shy of the all-time New York Yankee record, but he's 40. He's 40. Can he put up another 30 home run season? Maybe. He hasn't hit 40 in a couple of seasons. I mean, he's still a damn good bat and definitely not the fielder that he used to be. Dominguez will start the season on the IL. Remember, he tore his ACL mid-season, about August, and I am taking it upon myself to ensure that injuries play out as long as they are supposed to, unlike MLB The Show, as they have not been able to fix that in 20 years. So Dominguez is not scheduled to come back until mid-season. He's still got several more years on that contract. Whether we will see that contract play out kind of depends on Aaron Judge and timing with MLB The Show 26, as we are less than a month away from MLB The Show 26. I have not decided what team I am playing yet. I have a couple in mind, but we ain't concerned about that because I want to finish this series as we are in season 9, and my goal was always to get to season 10, and we begin yet again against the Boston Red Sox. And as you can see the projected numbers, we are projected to be number 2 in the division at 85 wins, which I don't think should get you in the playoffs anyway. They say Bunning will lead in batting average, Volpe will be the best player by WAR, Bunning will also lead in steals, and Aaron Judge will carry everything else like he has for most of his Yankee career. Garrett Crochet gets yet another opening day start for Beantown, the 2029 Cy Young Award winner. And Anthony Volpe will start off our regular season here in 2033 as we look to hopefully get another World Series before Judge retires. It is completely possible that this is the last year we see him, even though he's still a viable bat in the lineup. Fader will bat second, but only because it's a left-handed lineup. Judge, Bunning, Lombard Jr. comes back to play third. I probably should have moved him down the lineup. Jones, Arias, Pickett, and Ullman. Well, because this is a lefty lineup, that's a big reason why it looks funny. It just looks kind of funny. If it's against righties, Pickett is like the number 4 batter, Jones is 5, that kind of thing. You know, you got to play things a little different by matchup depending on who you are facing. And here is Mr. Judge, another 30 home run season, which sounds rather underwhelming when you think about it. You know, if you have to have a 50 home run season in this series, but he's still been productive either way, unlike in real life where he has, what, 1, 2, 3, I think he has 3 50 home run seasons and maybe a 4th, which either is or could be tied for the most all time. Unfortunately, I didn't do the research before recording this. Nonetheless, we have our ace on the mound, Hunter Green, winning last year's Cy Young Award. Does he have another one in him as he starts off the season with a strikeout on the newly acquired outfielder Brian Reynolds, leaving Pittsburgh, going to Boston in the offseason. Young-Hoo Lee also striking out. He's been here in Boston for a little bit himself. Here's Christian Campbell, the, young, well, he ain't young no more. He's getting up there in age, almost 29, 30 years old. He's been here the entire time. As, helped lead the team to a World Series back in 2025, but they haven't had a lot of postseason success since that. Hurston Kjerstad is going to be sat down on strikes as Hunter Green continues to have the strikeout pitch, and apparently I didn't realize I got a trophy. Strikeout a batter. Dude, I've been playing with Hunter Green for a couple of seasons. How has he not struck somebody out with 101 yet? As another strikeout by Green. Trevor Hoover is unfortunately going to be the first guy to get a free pass from Hunter Green. Sometimes when you throw hard, you're going to not throw it as accurately as you may like. Underneath the diving Anthony Volpe. Anderson gets on with their first hit here in the bottom of the 3rd. Reynolds floats one to shallow center. It's going to bounce down. Jones will come up throwing to the plate. Everybody stays put. Bases will be loaded for the number 2 bat in the lineup. That is Young-Hoo Lee, and rolls it to Volpe. Volpe goes to Arias. High throw, and Arias, for some reason, or maybe he was trying to avoid getting spiked on the way down, decides not to throw it to first for his own safety. And one is all that the Red Sox will get as Crochet sets down Judge on strikes for the 2nd time today. As Andrew Vaughn hits a slider deep to left field. It is going to be over the monster. His first home run of the season, going from one Sox team to another. Red Sox up 2-0 as they look to get back into the playoffs this season. Crochet continues to have the strikeout magic, 4th one of the game. Jones, bouncer up the middle to Crochet, stabs it and throws it over to first. And through 5, Yankees have not gotten much done offensively. Reynolds strikes out on the splitter, a rare pitch you see from Green, usually a fastball slider or slurve kind of guy. Grounder. Arias throws it across the diamond. Here's James Pickett. Unfortunately, he will also be a strikeout victim, batting from his weaker side. Ullman, oh man, can't connect on the sweeper that nearly hits him in the ribs. Both aces are on their game today. Splitter by Green, does not find the zone. 2nd walk and 2 runners on. But we're going to be able to get out the next man in the lineup. I believe that is Blake Sable. As Kevin Fader comes up here in the 7th, and he lines it to center field. I feel like we haven't gotten a hit at all in this ball game, as Judge hits it hard up the middle, and this might be, what, our 1st or 2nd hit of the ball game? Crochet really taking advantage of the opening day jitters from this Yankee lineup, and holy shit, he had a perfect game. I'm glad we broke that up, because that's the last thing we need to start the season. And unfortunately, Crochet is going to be replaced by Sam Hitches as Bunning takes a 12-6 curve, floats it to left, and unfortunately through 7. 1 hit is all the Yankees can muster. Green's given up 5, including a long ball and 2 runs. But both guys have had the strikeout pitch going. And it doesn't look like the Yankees are replacing Green quite yet, though we are in the 8th inning. On the offensive side, oh, this bounces past. I don't exactly remember who that is in right field. Does not matter. Lombard, you should have went to third. Why did you backtrack? Come on. Jones bounces it in the left field, and Lombard will only move up one base. Dude, you could have scored if you just hustled to third. I know the right fielder has a strong arm, but come on. You could have scored. Could have been 2-1 with nobody out as Arias bounces up the middle. Campbell goes across the middle of the diamond. Lombard finally scores, but we do have one out. All right, James Pickett up next, runner in scoring position. We can expect him to be one of the better hitting catchers in all of baseball as he bounces the 12-6 curve up the middle. Coming around the score is Arias, and he will slide in safely, tying this ball game up at 2 apiece. Yet another opening day RBI and hit for James Pickett in his young career. Eric Lugo, the closer drafted back in 2025. Remember, I told you, Lugo and Medina were going to be key pieces in the Red Sox bullpen, and they have proven to do so as, man, Lugo had a 50-save season year 2 of his career, but for some reason was not the closer any of the next 2 years, which makes no sense. Again, I question how the CPU comes up with their bullpen logic as Volpe hits one off the middle of the monster, but it'll stay in fair territory. We've got 2 runners in scoring position for the newly acquired. Kevin Fader puts a charge into this fastball, but the Fenway dimensions are going to keep it inside play. Jump ahead, top of the ninth, still tied at 2. Grounder past the diving Christian Campbell into right field, and Bunning will be a 1-out base runner. Lombard will float a cutter to left field. It'll bounce down on the grass, and both runners are going to be safe as next batter comes up. Spencer Jones. Kenny, give us the go-ahead run. Full count offering from Lugo. Swing and a miss. 94 miles an hour. He can't seem to put solid contact on. Arias takes a slider, hits it to shallow center. Chasing it down is Mayer, and that is the final out. So can the Red Sox walk it off in the bottom of the 9th inning and start their season 1-0? They will have to contend against one of our better relievers, a 2.08 ERA in Frederick Dunning. Throws Mayer a changeup, and it will be floated right to Dunning for out number 1 here in the 9th. Kerstad can't catch up the 94 inside of the zone. Blake Mitchell bounces a changeup to Volpe, and over the first, and the opening day matchup between the Red Sox and the Yankees will go to extras. Top of the 10th, Pickett hits a fastball hard down the line, bounces into the corner, and the runner from second will score. Pickett will retreat back to first, so that's an RBI single for him. For Robert Ullman, bounces it to Anderson. Anderson to Campbell. Campbell back to first. That is 2 off the board. And now the Red Sox get an opportunity. Hoover bounce to Arias. Arias over to first, and we at least get the first out. But I think the infield is going to have to play in as Antonio Anderson. He tied the ball game with a base hit. But he hits this high and deep. Right field. Ullman running back at the warning track makes the catch over his head and shoulders, but the run will easily score from third. I'm glad he made the catch, because if you don't make that catch, Hoover is on on third at that point. Reynolds will bounce it to Volpe. Volpe with a bit of a high throw, but we will get them out, and we continue for a free baseball. As the aforementioned Art Medina comes out of the bullpen, a 1.79 ERA last year. I told you, Lugo and Medina drafted in the same draft. They were going to be beasts, and they most certainly are proving that they are. The Red Sox haven't exactly built up the rest of their bullpen, but those 2 guys are at least drafted and been very good. And Judge can't connect on a curveball from Medina that was a balloon. He should have smoked to I-95, but he takes this one. Sends it deep to center field. Mayer tries to catch it off the bounce, and the runner at second never moved. And to be honest, I don't blame them. Could have been the go-ahead run, but I understand the hesitation, not knowing where that ball was going to be. So we leave it to our former first-round draft pick, Lee Bunning, to drive in the run, and he's not going to be able to do so unless this ball went fair. It does not. So a base hit will be needed in order for us to win this ball game. As Lombard takes a fastball and floats it to shallow center. Campbell can't come up with it. Yankees take the lead on the bloop single from Lombard. Young-Hoo Lee floats this one to start the 11th to left field. Christian Campbell with an opportunity to tie the ball game, or maybe even better, win it. But we call on the best closer in the game, Ryan Grady. 46 saves last year in 70 innings with an under 3 ERA. Bouncer to Fader. Fader will step on the bag, and with 2 outs, I would expect the defense to be playing in, even if Andrew Vaughn has hit a home run earlier. Grady ahead 0-2, looking to set him down and win the ball game, and he does! The sinker on the low outside corner gets us the first victory of 2033. And we jump ahead into the season as, Robert Ullman is not playing well. Particularly in this series, he is 1 for 5. Floats this one against the Rays into center field, and Arias is going to come around to score from second as we are now down by 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning against the Rays at home. And Volpe, unfortunately, gets way out in front of a very slow slider from Victor Vodnik. Arias, unfortunately, will pop this one up into the infield as Michael Irisari is right there to make the catch to end the 8th inning. And Irisari, for good measure, sends a 3-run shot in the top of the 9th inning to extend the lead. And that, unfortunately, will be our first L of the season. Pickett sends this one high, deep to left field against the Sox. It is going to get into the bullpen. A grand slam for the gotta check his birth certificate. I think he's like 23-year-old James Pickett. That's his first of the season. I expect many more from him. When I drafted him several years ago, kind of just needed some more catchers and, needed somebody to maybe replace Austin Wells. And Pickett has been better than Wells. Granted, Wells had a very hot 2027, postseason run up until about the World Series. But Pickett has just been good all across the board. Been a better arm, been a better defender, been a better bat. And he's a switch hitter. I like that. As Bimo grounds this one in the left field, as a matter of fact, cutting the deficit to 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. White Sox are not a team to be reckoned with. We've actually, I think, lost to them more than we've beaten them, even though they've yet to make the postseason. Grounder in the right field, throw to the plate. Pickett can't tag him in time. And they tie the ball game up at 4 apiece thanks to the Colin Barber single. Guy Rosario floats it to Arias. He's able to make the catch before it bounces on the outfield grass. Jones, top of the 10th inning with an opportunity to give us the lead, and he will do so, driving in the runner from third. As we push on to the bottom half of the 10th, Kyle Teal, a man who stole an all-star appearance, I think, from Pickett last year, will unfortunately not be able to drive in the tying run thus far. Evan Carter, bouncer up the middle. It'll land in Jones's glove. The throw from him to the plate. The tag. No, not in time. Evan Carter ties the ball game. I thought he had him as, Felipe Gutierrez nearly hits Rosario with a curveball, but instead walks him. Jose Ramirez, no, not that Jose Ramirez, a draftee, bounces into the 4-3 double play, U4-3 if you were keeping track at home. And the runner goes from second. Pickett, a little hesitant to throw it to third, and that'll cost us a base runner. Ramirez is safe at third. Expect a bunt from Angel Martinez. Floats this to left center. And the throw from Bunning. He's not going to get him, let's be honest. He doesn't have a strong enough arm. And I guess playing him in left field or any outfield position sometimes can be an issue as the White Sox walk us off. you know, oh man. Bunning is a good fielder. It's just his arm isn't there, man. And here we are later in the season as we take on the LA Dodgers, a 2024 and 2028 World Series rematch. And what the hell was that? Bro, who the hell threw that? You know, it doesn't matter. But as you take a look at the Dodger lineup, it is not as, I guess, intimidating as it used to be back in the, you know, juggernaut Dodgers days. And Hope will float one to right field in front of Bunning, who's playing the other outfield today. Zaire Hope, one of the more promising Dodgers that they've had in the organization for years, as I think we need to make a little bit of a shuffle. I'm going to let Jazz Chisholm play. He's not a primary left fielder, but, you know, got to give him some burn at some point. As we are up 1-0, Taj Bradley on the mound. Strikes out Shohei Ohtani, the 7-time, you heard that right, 7-time MVP and 2-time Cy Young Award winner, quite possibly the greatest player of all time in this universe, if you include what the hell just happened, Bunning? How did you not get to that? Dude, I'm starting to lose faith in you. Come on, man. You got to get to that, or at least know you got to let it bounce. And speaking of bounce, Jesus Sanchez somehow ends up getting bounced off at first despite the bobbling by Arias. Jeez Louise, let's get it together. Volpe sends a circle change off Andy Nardi's hand out to left field to give us the late lead. 3-1 Yankees as we look to steal this game here in LA. I forgot this stadium is technically in LA. A little bit of a brain fart as we face one of our former utility players, Oswaldo Cabrera, who honestly has been better since he left. You know, 2 pretty good seasons in St. Louis, a solid enough one in 2031 and 32. Joined the Dodgers. I mean, you know, you got to get some burn somewhere. And he's a major league caliber player. So I'm not going to knock him completely, but he's not the answer that the Dodgers may be looking for. But I think at this point, the word is around the league is that the Dodgers are looking to spend less, which I know sounds absolutely crazy, given their history of just, you know, burning money fast. But it is what it is. You know, at some point, you can't just keep, you know, hitting that luxury tax and taking on all the international free agency penalties. And, you know, getting your draft picks dropped because, you know, even for a former juggernaut team, you need quality talent, and that quality talent is usually, you know, at the top portion of the draft. All right, down by 1 against the Kansas City Royals, who eliminated from us from the wild card last year. We tie it up here, 3-3 apiece off of Kyle Harrison. Steve Crespo strikes out Gavin Cross on the high heater, stranding a runner in scoring position, but they're not done yet. Jack Caglione, who beat the brakes of us last year in the wild card series, particularly game 3, comes up clutch yet again. It's like he just enjoys the New York dirty air, and it, you know, helps him out with hitting. Maybe he got bit by a freaking city rat or something, and it gave him powers. It's like a Spider-Man. Nonetheless, Colt Keith will strike out on the curveball as we look to pick up a save. But Colton Cowser, a familiar face to us in this series, as a former Oriole, rolls it to Arias over to first, and we pick up a little bit of revenge against the Royals. Now, whether we see them in the postseason is really up in the air. Jones with 2 big bombs to give us the lead. Pickett with a solo shot back in the 6th inning of this Yankees-Marlins matchup as we face Johan Duran. And, he hits the splitter the other way. Left field, it is. Goal almost out of here. I thought it was going to carry him off the foul pole, and Pickett shows some hustle sliding in safely at second. But he slid because sliding, you know, feet first wouldn't have been a smart idea, as he does seem to be grimacing. Hopefully his groin is not torn, and it's a minor injury. Kevin Fader hits this one to right field. It bounces off the outfield wall. fader, hustling the second, the throw. Ooh, the slide just on the inside half. Second base umpire calling it properly. That's an RBI double as you look at the slide. He in there, brother. He's in there. Good eyes. I'm glad you got LASIK in the offseason, Opes. Volpe hits this one into the rather cavernous gap. I tend to forget how deep and wide, parks like this park, Lone Depot Park, I forgot what it was. Almost called it Pro Player Stadium because I am that old to remember when the Marlins came in the league. Shout out to all my old heads still playing MLB The Show at this point after 20 long years. Arias will float this one to left field, but we have already taken the lead. As we jump ahead to the bottom of the ninth inning, Monty Mahoney sends Grady's sinker deep to left field, tying it up at 3 apiece, blowing the save for Grady. Even the great ones, even the Mariano Rivera's will, give up. Walk-off dingers, walk-up homers. I mean, come on. Mariano Rivera pretty much, lost a bit of, wow, umpire, are you kidding me? No, Almost is out. Yeah, even the great ones have their blunders at times. Remember the 0-1 World Series, Game 7? Yeah, I tend to like to forget about that, too, as a Yankee fan. Ground ball, Pedro Blanco up the middle. Arias can't come up with it. Chisholm throwing to the plate. The runner is going to just slide there in time, and William Contreras, the free agent acquisition, even at the age of 35, coming through for the Miami Marlins. All right, jump ahead to the Twins as Jacob Wilson floats this one into left field. Jones is there. He'll come up throwing to third. Actually, he'll hit Volpe as a cutoff and tie the ball game up at 1 apiece. Former Rookie of the Year for the Athletics in strikeout. As I believe that is Hunter Green sets him down. Logan O'Hoppe has kind of bounced around a little bit here in this series. Fly ball, deep right field. It is fair, impossible, no. Into the foul corner, a very shallow foul corner. And will unfortunately take a look at the next pitch and be struck out. So from so close to so far away from a run. Toglia reaches out for the splitter. Volpe going to go to first instead to at least get the guaranteed out and not try for the double play. Kalen Culpepper up, third baseman, replacing the departed Royce Lewis for Cleveland. Unfortunately, will float this to Volpe for the final out in the 7th, and the Yankees will hang on to victory as we do a little team photo here for the infielders and Grady. I'm sorry, that looked like a prison pic. And the only reason why I say that is because I worked in a prison. So, literally, I was a CO. I wasn't. Never mind. Anyways, Mitchell Parker, former Tampa Bay Ray, has been pitching very well for the Guardians. 6 wins in the last 7 starts, 46 innings, 27 Ks to a 1.17 ERA. And man, it looks like it's going to be an ace-on-ace matchup. Hunter Green, 4-1 to start the campaign with a 2.14 ERA and under 1 whip, striking out 26% of batters he's faced, only striking out 7%. Take a look at the defending World Series champion. You heard that right, Cleveland Guardians. Jason Churio, Bazana, Luce, Beatty, Pasquantino, Badu, Lauder, and Dingler, as they're very lefty-heavy, and that bat is too heavy for you to swing if you can't catch up to this 99-mile-an-hour fastball from Hunter Green, the former MVP. Actually, the reigning MVP. My bad. Put some respect on that man's name. Bazana rolling up the middle for a base hit. Runner going to take off for second. The tag, and not in time. As Travis Bazana continues to be a pain in our bazaasshole. Yeah, I know that was lame. Whatever. Royce Lewis is going to strike out to end the first, and that was way too eventful for my liking. Brett Beatty, former Met, unfortunately is going to take one for the team as he gets pelted with a splitter that lost control, but Green able to bounce back, striking out Akil Badu. Chase DeLauder hits this one high and deep to left field into the gap. Bunning can't come up with it, and this might as well be a car insurance ad as it bounces up against the Progressive Field sign. That is a double by DeLauder giving Cleveland a 1-0 lead. Hopefully it doesn't take 24 more innings for this game to end. Ground ball in the left field. Bunning throws it to the plate, and the timing wasn't horrible. It's just it took a bounce. Cleveland up 2-0. Arias sends this one deep to left field. It was long gone at 401 feet from our second baseman. His 5th of the season, and we are within 1. As Omen bounces it to Bazana. Bazana can't and won't make the throw, as a matter of fact, and he'll score that a base hit. Bunning hits it over the third baseman's head into left field. And Jason Churio is just going to hold on to that one. The Bunning a hit streak, because that's just what he does. A very streaky batter, multiple 10-game hitting streaks throughout his young career. While not a phenomenal hitter, he's just a guy that just, he's slappy-dappy, the antithesis of a lot of modern baseball, very old school, plays defense, may not have a strong arm in the outfield, but I like what he brings to the team. Bazana will strike out on a high slider, a pitch that maybe that got away from Green a little bit, but it played out in his favor. Pasquantino will punch out as well, as Green didn't even play when we last played Cleveland in the playoffs. Remember, he hurt himself. As James Pickett also with a hitting streak, and up to 15, so over 2 weeks of good hitting, earning his paycheck, and then some. Omen hits this one in the left field. Runner is going to actually stop and move up 2 bases each. We do have a 1-run lead here in the 5th as Anthony Volpe bounces it to short. And runner from third will score. And we go up 4-2 on the ground ball out. Mason Wynn, unfortunately, will strike out on the low slider. That is the 8th punch out from Green. Bazana makes it number 9 as Green, as the game gets deeper, he is getting even better, approaching 10 strikeouts. Royce Lewis makes it a dirty dozen. It's actually just 10. Double digits. And that is Green's 2000th career strikeout, which I forget they do milestones for pitchers because they don't show them that often. And honestly, to get 2,000 strikeouts, it's not that easy. Bouncer to Green, and he will get through the 6th with a quality start, only giving up 2 runs through 6. Jump ahead, and we will pick up the victory as Chuyan, as a matter of fact, will pick up the save. So we jump ahead and face the only other switch pitcher I have ever faced. I have played MLB The Show long enough to have actually faced Pat Venditti, but here is Jurangelo Sinja. Yes, I figured out how to pronounce his name. And in his career, he's been okay. I will admit that Jurangelo Sinja is not exactly, he doesn't have his proper pitch mix because he throws a different, either off-speed or breaking ball, I think it's off-speed, with his left hand versus his right. But I don't think MLB The Show has coded it to the point where he can have a different repertoire, lefty versus righty. Nonetheless, Mariners pick up the victory. Maybe we'll see Sinja at a different point in time. As Fader weakly hits this slider, even though it was jammed into right field for a base hit and an RBI. Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. Omen, though, sends this one off Murillo. Deep the left field, just inside the foul pole. Robert Omen continuing to be a quality bat. And I almost felt like I was robbing the Reds back when I traded for Hunter Green. But it's not my fault that they didn't see value in Jack Johnson despite the high potential. It is what it is. His 3-run shot does give us the victory, and unfortunately we did suffer an injury. The captain is going to be out for 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. We will let him take as much time as needed to do what he needs to do to recover. So make a little shuffle into the deck. Chisholm will move the DH. Ullman will move the center. Jones still in left. Bunning still in right. And we move ahead. Tristan Vreeland will face DeAndre Newton, the cousin of Cam Newton. Is he really his cousin? No, but for storylines, it's going to be his damn cousins. And, he's able to hustle it out. on a weakly hit ball to third base. Cousin Cam Newton not in attendance tonight for the ball game. You know, he got to do his 4th and 1 podcast. You know, you can't always make it, but that is a no, not a triple play. I thought that ball was a low liner, so I thought, why not try to turn 3? And Jacob Melton says you can't turn even 1 on this hard hit ball up the middle. Ullman coming up, throwing the third. It's offline. And wow, he actually back runs to second, though I think that's only going to be scored a single and an advancement. Valera will unfortunately strike out, as he is not exactly agreeing with the call. Hey, MLB The Show 26, you might be able to challenge that, but you actually swung and missed, so it doesn't matter. Dustin Harris will drive in the go-ahead run here in the 7th inning for Houston. And Daniel Susac will bounce this one to Volpe, former Guardian, won a world championship last year with them, did sign with Houston in the offseason. Jones, hard grounder to second, dive and stop by Melton. No, he can't even dive and stop it in shallow right field. And we got another hit streak. Spencer Jones up to a double-digit number. Fader can't connect with the fading slider in the other batter's box. Chisholm up next. He can't connect on the slider. This one just a little bit higher. And without Aaron Judge, we are struggling offensively, as we will now face Brandon Williamson, who I believe was a starter at one point. But, hey, CPU go CPU how they use their players. Oh, man, hard shot up the middle for a base hit here in the 9th inning. Represents the tying run, and we call on Volpe facing his more powerful side. And, okay, Ullman will at least advance to second. So either 8 or 9 will need to drive him in, as Arias, a little bit too underneath that cutter, pops it up into the infield as Cam Smith makes the catch. And Jerome Goodwin is going to hit this one up the middle. Coming around to score is Ullman. To the plate is the throw by Newton. Sorry, DeAndre, I thought you would at least get your cousin's arm strength, but I don't know. Maybe you got the arm strength from your father's side and not your mother's side. I don't know. Jones will bounce out, but we will advance the runner here in the top of the 10th. As we look to get the go-ahead run. Fader can't connect on the cutter. High and inside. Good placement by Williamson, as we call on Steve Crespo to get us to the top of the 11th, and hopefully we can get the go-ahead run. Valera hits this one to left field, but he takes a diving attempt, and it's not going to be there. It's going to roll to the wall. Ullman, don't bother throwing. The Astros are going to win this ball game. Ah, damn. I appreciate the effort because it's a low liner. Fine, it's a regular season game. I'm not too concerned. Unfortunately, in a later game, Robert Ullman is out for 2 months, broke his leg, and I can't call up Hernandez as he's not quite ready yet. Maybe we'll call up Conrad Foley. He's had some major league experience, including back in 2031. Also played in his first season back in 2026. We'll call up Hernandez. What the hell? He'll play at some point. But we are a little thin in the outfield. Maybe we'll move Chisholm back to the outfield. Yes, Chisholm will play left, even though his secondary say he plays second. Whatever. It doesn't seem to have affected his play defensively. Unfortunately, he will strike out to Jeremiah Estrada. And Lombard Jr. bounces it to second. And Acuna Jr. will throw out him at first. Yes, Ronald Acuna Jr. left for Texas. Aaron Judge is back. No, that's not Aaron Judge. What the hell is this imposter? He doesn't wear 0. We're going to have to fire the equipment dude, aren't we? Hits this one high and deep to right field. And, okay, good. He won't get credited for a home run in a foreign jersey. I think Roberto Alonso actually played a prank on him. I know they've become friends, but, dude, this is the captain's jersey, man. What are you doing? As Gregory Lorenz floats this one to left center, and Jose Hernandez getting some playing time. Runner takes off for second. The throw by Pickett to Volpe. The tag got him on the kneecap. as he kneecaps the Twins' potential rally, and Grady sets him down on strikes to end the ball game. Great defense, great pitching, and just enough offense to get us through. Hunter Green with 8 strikeouts in 7 innings against the Twins. And Roberto Alonso really did play a prank on him. Listen, I get you trying to get cool with dudes, but come on, man. You can't be playing with the captain's jersey. Give him back his damn jersey. According to reports, Aaron Judge actually found it funny and, kind of found the prank, akin to, Samson losing his hair. So he lost his power, his ability to hit a home run. The throw to the plate and sliding in there safely is Spencer Jones. I got to pay attention to the action, too, as the captain's got his bot back. Well, in a sense. Number 38. As Lee Bunning comes up with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 9th, and he can't connect on the first pitch fastball. Next pitch from Jose Butto. Check swing, and they call him out, but he never went parallel to the plate. Umpires, what are we doing? Kevin Fader up next. Last chance, possible last strike opportunity. 1-2. Hits this. Bouncer in the right field. Runner is just going to stay put at third, which means the cleanup man is coming up next and can possibly walk off this ball game with a long ball. He bounces this one in front of the plate. Come on. That ball couldn't even leave the infield. A disappointing way to lose, but, losing is always disappointing. Rafi Devers faces Jose Guzman. Bouncer to Fader. Fader Volpe back to Fader for the 3-6-3 double play. Yankees would tack on 7 more runs, including 2 Arias home runs to give us the victory against the Mariners. 4 in the 5th and 4 in the 7th, and Hunter Green is now going to be out with an injury, a little shoulder inflammation. He's had some issues with that. And yeah, all right, I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks, because I'm not going to risk just throwing him out there. Nonetheless, Reggie Smith now is also injured. He's torn a finger ligament and will miss 2 months. So now we've got to dig into the minor leagues. Do we call up Sam Becker? Is he ready yet? He's 21 years old. The win-loss record isn't there. The ERA is good. The whip is just fine. But I think we're going to call on somebody who might need the opportunity just a little bit more, and I'd like to see how they play in Frank Wolf. Potential, so I'm going to give him a chance. Why not? Maybe he comes up and does something good, and maybe he sticks around. I don't know, because I know a player like Jose Guzman is kind of, he's a potential, but you never know. He's okay. He doesn't throw very hard for me to really think he's a true a potential, but you can find good pitchers even if they are not hard throwing. In his first start, 6 innings, 2 runs, earned 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts against the Toronto Blue Jays. C.D. Pelham hits this ball deep. That's Roberto Alonso. Hits this one deep to right field, tying the ball game up as the prankster hits, I believe, his first home run of the season. Graphics team. Okay, all right, I see how y'all are. All right, this is why y'all not getting paid this week. Anywho, Lee Bunning is going to get himself on as well, and it bounces past the diving left fielder, whose name it slips in my mind at the moment. Bunning is no, he's not going through. He's going to retreat back to second, as it happens to be Father's Day today. Bunning has a 2-year-old daughter named Emily, and I'm sure he's dedicated that hit to his young daughter. C.D. Pelham will get out of the inning, though. And we move ahead to the top of the 9th inning as Chisholm hits a high fastball to left, and that left fielder is now not going to have to move. We are going to go into extra innings. And here in said extra innings, top of the 10th, facing George Corona. Lombard smacks this one in the right field, and no, 1 base is all each a Yankee player will get. So we are 1 run away from getting the lead, and Robert bounces this one into the corner, and Robert's going to retreat back to first. I think he realizes he's not as fast as his anticipation may be, and Figueroa, I actually don't know who that is. Nonetheless, the runner is out. Brett Wisely attempts to bunt, but he pops it up. And the second baseman is right there to make the catch. Runner at third, able to retreat back in time. Good play by Alonso. Steven Walker. Check swing, not gonna matter as Fred Dunning comes up with the save. I know it wasn't Ryan Grady, but I do trust Dunning in clutch situations, and we sweep the Blue Jays in what I believe is the second series we faced them this season. All right, in the AL East race, we are chasing the Orioles, and we are down by 4 games. Aaron Judge continuing to hit at the age of 40. 10-game hitting streak to his name, showing very little signs of slowing down with that bat in his hand. Frank Wolf is going to get his second start and first start at Yankee Stadium. 3 ERA to coming into this, and Manny Gill, the second baseman, is going to start off the ballgame with a leadoff base hit. Enrique Bradfield Jr. bouncer to Volpe. Volpe Arias back to first as we wipe both Oriole players off the base paths. But Gunnar Henderson, the 3-time MVP, sends this to straightaway center, proving why he is one of the best players in the game. And Riley Green is going to follow it up with a long ball to the opposite center field gap for the long ball as the Orioles jump out to a 2-0 lead here in Wolf's home debut. He will get Masayo out, though, picking up his first strikeout of the ball game. Now Vance Honeycutt bounces one to third. Good win. Over to first. And he finally gets out of an inning without giving up a run. Frank Wolf wanting to get his number retired at some point, and I will admit it's kind of difficult to play through a team's literal retired numbers because players like numbers lower than 30. But, I make it work, as you've seen. You see some of the projected leaders for this Yankee squad here in 2033. Most of it is Pickett, some Volpe, some Bunning. As Frank Wolf looks to redeem himself against Gunnar Henderson, and he does so. Low two-seamer gets the corner. Henderson not agreeing with the call, but he won't challenge it. Sorry, you'll have to wait for the next iteration of the show for you to do that. As Riley Green also will be sat down on strikes following long balls in their first 2 plate appearances. Make it 3 in a row as Christian Encarnacion Strand is sat down. She strikes out the side. Basayo going to be struck out on the big-time hook from Wolf. Westbrook, though, able to get the call. First walk given up by Mr. Wolf with 2 Fs. Henderson going to be sat down on strikes for the second time on the slow enough sinker. Maybe more of a circle change, depending on how you look at things. But Wolf is going to be out of the game. And Ryan Grady's going to come in here in the 10th to help us pick up the victory. And Volpe, that ball bounced, bro. You realize that, right? You should have thrown it first. I mean, I'm glad Arias was paying attention, even though there wasn't a double play, and not let that ball go into the outfield. Speaking of which, floater to right center. Hernandez makes the catch and will throw it home for good measure. As the Orioles will have runners on the corners. Basayo bounces this one just inside fair territory at third. And the Orioles take a 1-run lead. Jump ahead is Vance Honeycutt. He will drive in another run, therefore doubling the lead. It's 4-2 Baltimore.
Now pitching for the Orioles.
And as we jump ahead, Brian Abreu, the former New York Yankee and Houston Astro, is going to look to close out this ball game for his new squad. Relievers are like mercenaries. They don't really have a whole lot of allegiance, or the way the league treats them, they don't have a reason to. You go get the bag and where your opportunities are. As Volpe gets to see the slider in competitive fashion and not in spring training, can't connect on it and will strike out. Arias floats this one to left, and Brian Abreu picks up the save against a team in which he's won a World Series with. Of course, he's hoping to win one, or at least contribute to the Orioles' run back to a World Series. But Kevin Fader says, I'm here to help the Yankees, as he ties the ball game at 8-2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The big 3-3 showing that power in his bat. Kyle Isabel says, I got something right back for you. Hits this one into our bullpen, giving the Orioles a 4-2 lead in extras for the second straight game. Pickett, here in the bottom of the 10th, hits a slider into the gap. Runner from second is going to score easily. Pickett on his high horse to second, sliding in there safely. And he represents the tying run for the next batter, Spencer Jones, who gets a bit of this fastball, not enough of it to bounce it down or hit it out. And we call on the captain, who's 0 for 3, to tie or win the ball game. And he sends this one to left field. It is going to stay in the ballpark. Pickett will score from second, and the 40-year-old legs don't move like they used to, so he will stay at first, extending his hit streak to a lucky 13 games. Holiday bounces this one to Arias here on the top of the 11th, and it will advance the runner, so good sacrifice bat and ball in play. Encarnacion Strand strikes out top of the 11th. That runner still at third. Jordan Westbrook, last opportunity for Baltimore. Check swing, and they're going to give him the strikeout. As we will go into the bottom 11 for the opportunity to win it, as Chisholm can't connect on the circle change on the outside corner. As Abreu looks to get it to the top of the 12. But George Lombard says, I ain't having none of that. A rarely thrown circle change by Abreu catches far too much of the plate. Sends it to left. Yankees walk it off. Abreu, you're going to have to shake it off, man. You know how it is in the reliever game, man. You got to have a real short, memory. As we are 48-39, the Mets are 50 and something after that. I wasn't paying attention. As Jordan Alvarez, the two-time NL MVP, gets the bases loaded against a rookie pitcher, and oh boy, be careful, Guzman. Grounded to Fader. Fader to Volpe. Volpe to Guzman covering first, and we're able to get a double play. Start the month of July as Bunning faces Ray Reyes. Hits this into center field, but everybody's only going to be able to move up one base as the man in center able to get it back in the infield in time. Arias, liner to first. No. Step on the bag, not going to get a double off. Bunning able to hustle back in time. Volpe. Oh, this pitch is wild. Runners are both moving. No, actually only one is moving up because I wouldn't have challenged that either. If I were the runner at third. You're just not fast enough, and it won't matter in the long run as that is the final out, or floater is the final out to left. Morabito hits this one to center. Morabito, sorry. Hits this one to center. It's just like the gas station right up the road from me. Morabito ends up on first, and a bunt attempt by Matt Thaiss, who is not a bunter. He's more of a power hitter, so why are you not just hitting the ball? You had no outs. Just hit it over the infield. You win the game. As Matthew Bruno floats this one to right center. Jones gonna get the ball. The throw. The tag from the runner at third to the plate. The bounce, no tag. Mets will pick up the walk-off sacrifice fly victory. Ellie De La Cruz coming through for the orange and blue. Of course, it's disappointing when we lose to the Mets because we shouldn't be losing to their bum asses. Anyways, we will jump into the 2033 MLB draft. Probably from here on forward, I gotta say, we probably won't see any of these draftees from my squad or any other squad in the league just because it usually takes guys a couple of years. As J.J. Perez is going to be the first pick by the Blue Jays. He projects to be a good contact hitter, solid enough fielder with maybe some good to great speed, as the Blue Jays look to bolster their outfield depth. With the number 2 pick in the 2033 draft, the St. Louis Cardinals go with Jose Cruz, a 18-year-old high school player, righty batter, righty throwing, ranked 5th for us, 4th across the league, and he's very much a project, very much a defense and speed kind of guy. The arm accuracy is not that great, does hit lefties pretty well, and hits righties solidly enough to be at least a decent prospect with decent upside. The number 3 pick is going to the Royals, And Eronimo Ibar, the 7th ranked player and probably top ranked catcher, is going to Kansas City. Salvador Perez since has left a long time ago. Ibar here hits lefties very well, hits them for greater power, is a good fielder. Obviously doesn't have speed, but does have a pretty solid arm as a catcher. So jump ahead to the Yankees pick, which is much later because we very rarely end up with a top pick. Fernando Ferreira is going to be our pick. Nobody else in the league was looking at him. He was ranked 3rd on our board. Again, we may not see him. We more than likely are not going to see any of these guys in 2033, 34, and maybe 35. Does throw a fastball, changeup, curveball, and a 2-seam, ramping that 4-seam up to 97 miles an hour. We are going to draft Elmer Blanco for the middle infield, as we don't have a whole lot of middle infielders. He also plays 3rd. Solid contact guy, hit for a little bit of bop, major league type vision, just does not field. If he can get his defense up, we definitely will be seeing him in future years. We're going to go outfield to Stephen Maeda, 19th ranked for us from Japan. Things didn't work out for him in MPB in terms of him getting drafted, and somehow he ended up getting drafted here in the U.S. Good arm as we go with yet another outfielder, Jess Nieto. Hits righties well as a lefty batter, hits for power pretty much in general. Solid enough fielder and could have good to great speed, though his upside doesn't seem to be there. We go with Franklin Metzger, a 3rd baseman prospect from Ohio. He needs to work on his bat, though the glove looks pretty damn good. Not very fast. I don't know where the hell he got that beard from, but hey, some teenagers have some crazy beard genetics. Henry Diaz is going to be next, a reliever. A strikeout guy. Doesn't walk a ton of guys, doesn't give up a long ball, and doesn't really give up hits all that often. Throws a fastball, curveball, changeup, and a splitter, ramping said 4-seam up to 97 miles an hour. So we do win the last game of the first half of the season, and Jasson Dominguez, right in time, is coming back to the lineup. We will need to shuffle some things around in order to get him onto the team. Johnny Fransky is leading the league in home runs, and he's been a massive power threat, the last 2 years. Diego Cabrera, very much on pace to maybe finally win himself an MVP, 22 years old. Is definitely a home run derby threat. Michael Toglia, coming off some pretty good seasons the last 2 years, didn't really play much of the previous 2 before that, and has put up at least 25 home runs in 3 or 4 straight seasons in the past. Junior Caminero, you don't see his real-life 2025 power numbers, or else I'm sure he'd have been in the home run derby every year. Spencer Torkelson looking to wind down his career as a Dodger, finally in a home run derby. Charlie Condon, maybe he's been getting some assistance from that mile-high air, but, as a player for the Rockies, he's been a good power threat. 30 home runs last year, 23 thus far this year. Kyle Manzardo, who hits righties specifically better than lefties, does have 23 homers. I would like to see in the home run derby the ability to face not a righty pitcher. If I've got a better power side, that's my left. Let me face a lefty pitcher. As Michael Toglia is your 2033 home run derby winner. I don't show them on this channel because for the most part, unless we have somebody participating, I could play the home run derby and win that shit every year. I just choose not to. Nonetheless, for the All-Stars, Hunter Green is going to make the All-Star start for the 2nd straight year and have an even better season with an under 2 ERA. He's got another year left on his contract. He is very much considered the front runner for the AL Cy Young yet again. Ryan Grady, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 straight All-Star appearances for him, and understandably so. He's on a team that is winning, and when we are, close enough in games, we send his ass out there to do his job, and he usually does it. James Pickett finally makes the All-Star game at the age of 23. I know that sounds nuts, but he should have been an all-star last year, and had he not gotten hurt in 2031, he would have been a rookie all-star. This could have been 3 in a row for him, but we're just proud of him, for making the all-star game in general. And the NL beats the AL, and there's no consequences. Joaquin Marrero, draft pick last year in the 4th round, is going to be a part of the Future Stars game. I don't play that on this channel. Jose Hernandez, though, you are unfortunately going to be a casualty of Dominguez coming back. He's just the better bat. So we're going to have you spend some time down in AAA, just really holding things down. Maybe if an injury comes about, you can play at the major league level again. And here is Jasson Dominguez starting off his 2033 season with a base hit up the middle. Most other players are pretty warm. They've been playing for over 100 games, and he's just like, I've been ready to play for months now. It's just I ain't been able to run these base paths. As Holiday floats one to left field, and Dominguez comes up throwing, and the runner at second smartly actually runs on him, as that's the first time he's really fielded in almost a year. As Dominguez hits this one to straightaway center at the warning track, it's going to be caught. Enrique Bradfield Jr. showing his range and using his height to grab that ball before it just gets out of here. And Kingman is going to give up a hard hit shot to left field. Dominguez is unfortunately going to float out to left for the second out of the 7th. Majinski throws him a slider, and he hits it harder up the middle by at least 25 miles an hour. And that's his second hit, and he is like, I am in bachata, merengue, salsa form. And hopefully that continues for the second half of the season, the first half of the season for him. Frank Wolf, 8 innings and 4 strikeout ball. The Rangers have offered us a trade for Christopher Stockton, a pretty decent outfield prospect who, let's be honest, we don't have a lot of depth for players out there in the outfield in the minors, and Tristan Vreeling is going to be a free agent, so why not make this move? It's pretty solid in my opinion. And Reggie Smith has, he's got 3-4 weeks left. Crap, maybe we shouldn't have made that move. Maybe we call up Sam Becker. He seems to be good down there in the minors. Oh, what the hell? Let's give him a chance. Sam Becker does not give up contact very much, or hard contact very well, in either the home run or base hit form. Fastball, a four-seam slider, splitter, and a changeup. And we get to look at his MLB debut, but he's in a bases-loaded situation. And his team is up by 2 with 2 outs facing Riley Green, the multiple-time All-Star. And he gets him to bounce the changeup to first and gets out of the jam. Becker may be 21 years old, but I think he might be the type of pitcher that is a veteran even at 21. Yankees do pick up the victory as we start the second half of the season. Grayson Rodriguez only a singular strikeout, giving up 10 hits, as it's time to sign these draftees. Maeda, Blanco, Metzger, Nieto, Diaz, some solid guys. Some of these guys are relatively ready to sign now. We will attempt now. Fernando Ferreira, the starting pitcher, $2.52 million. He's going to reject it. Okay, fine, whatever. That's fine. You want to, get as much money as you can. I understand that. Blanco wants $598,000. He is going to sign for $897,000. Good job by his agent. Metzger wants $290,000. We're going to offer him $336,000, and he is going to take it. Again, another good agent there. Maeda's not going to take our low ball offer. We offered him about $50,000 less than what he asked for, and we will get back to the signing table later on. As we face the Royals yet again, Landon Marceau unfortunately going to give up, a hanging curveball home run, a 3-run shot by Anthony Volpe to take the lead, as Bobby Wood is like, damn, man, I had to watch that thing float way over my head yet again. The Royals haven't had much success in this series so far, and Sherwood Witt bounces this one to Jones. Jones will come up throwing from left field, and to the plate, not in time. Sherwood Witt tying the ball game at 3 apiece. is Daisuke Watanabe. Swing and miss on the slurve on the outside half of the zone to end the fifth. And Green is in mid-season hell, probably postseason form at this point. Jack Caglione, you saw this several months ago. Oh, this one stays in the park, though. This one stays in the park. He ends up with a double here in the bottom of the ninth inning. His 16th double of the year, nearly his 15th homer of the year. As Jordan Groshans floats this one to right center. Dominguez calls off Hernandez, and we'll throw it back in. Whoa. Good thing Grady was paying attention, as he has an opportunity to get the save. Rockefeller, swing and a miss on the curveball. The big hook setting him down. Yankees pick up another victory against a team that eliminated us last year. Jess Nieto couldn't see the offer, and hell, he's just not taking it. Doesn't matter. Diaz wants 285 and declines 360. Okay, I mean, damn, I can use that money right about now. Ferreira wants 2.3, slot value 3.13, and he will take 2.7 to save himself the trouble of having to go back into the draft. Stephen Maeda wants 522, slot value says 696, and he's not even going to take 647. I don't know why we're being cheap. We could pay him. Listen, man, I don't sign the draftees. You know, that's my assistant. Henry Diaz is going to sign for $400,000. And Maeda, we go back to the drawing board. We're going to offer him $694, and he finally accepts. Doesn't look to be the greatest of players, but, you know, it is what it is. Jess Nieto is going to sign for $674,000. So all of our draftees have been signed to a contract as Marcelo Mayer approaching triple-digit homers in his career. This is going to be a ground ball, though, to Fader, as Becker gets out of yet another bases-loaded situation in his young career. Here's Christian Campbell coming off a very good first half, 16 homers, 302 average. A pretty damn good player. Is really coming into his own as he becomes a free agent in the offseason. Campbell will roll one up the middle past Volpe. Bunting will come up throwing, and that not-so-ideal arm will end up giving up a second run. It's 2-0 Boston. You should see some of the trade rumors at the bottom of your screen. As Velasquez bounces to Volpe. Volpe goes the short way to get the force out to end this half of the inning. Volpe, a weakly hit fastball into the shallow gap, and that'll advance two runners, including the runner going first to third, and from second to home is tied at 2 apiece. Gutierrez looking to get out of this ball game. He's not going to be able to do so. He's going to give up the go-ahead run. Karem's off the top of the wall. Bunting slips in the outfield. Dirt out there. And Reynolds gives the Red Sox a late lead, 3-2. And they will call on one of their young reliever arms, Art Medina. Bottom 9, Jones rips this one in the left field. He'll be a leadoff base runner representing the tying run for the Yankees. Last chance for them to win. Fader will bounce it to third. Anderson goes to first. Jones will advance to second, so we'll have a runner in scoring position. As the captain comes up once again, and what could be one of the last times he faces the Boston Red Sox here at home. His age 40 season. Bounces this one to Campbell. It bounces off his glove. Campbell throw to first. Judge hustles and gets to first, saving a second out, though next batter does have a double play possibility. That's Roderick Arias. And swing and a miss on the curve ball. So Orioles taking possession of the AL East. And Lombard Jr. sends a changeup deep to left field. It's good if it stays fair. And George Lombard Jr. drops the rainmaker on the Red Sox. Another walk-off home run for Lombard. The second time this season he has done it. I don't know where he's getting this clutch and this level of power from, but I will gladly take it from an infielder of his, stature. Yankees sweep the Red Sox as Frank Wolf is going to give up a base hit to the newly acquired C.J. Abrams of the Brewers. Well, it's like August, so I can't really say newly acquired. He's been there for several months. Unfortunately, for us, that is a 2-run double. Jefferson Guerrero sends this one off a slow two-seamer under 90 miles an hour out to left field to extend not only his home run numbers, but I also wanted to see the slide. This is always dope. I don't know why. It's just cool. If they got their own slide in American Family Field. I forget what it's called. I remember it being called something else back in the day. It is what it is. Michael Harris ends up with a double, and Rodolfo Castro bounces this one past the diving Lombard Jr. Jones will come up throwing. Instead, he hits Lombard on the cutoff as Castro will stay put at first. Brewers up by 4. Cooper Pratt bounces one in the center as they seem to be figuring out Wolf's delivery, and man advances to third on the off throw as Giuseppe Burks bounces one to left field. Frank Wolf looking like he is in trouble so far in the 4th. Grounded to Lombard. Lombard goes to Chisholm. Chisholm just in time, still showing he's got the arm for second, even at the age of 35. And I look at Reggie Smith because, good God, we need you to come back. Robert Ullman, though, will return here in the beginning of August, and we're going to put him back in the lineup somewhere at this point. Again, we have a logjam in the outfield, and Ullman has just been too good to deny playing time. Now, a big issue with this 2033 season, other than having to send Alonso down, is I don't think Aaron Judge he hasn't been hitting like he used to, and I mean, I get it, he's 40. It's not the end for him, I don't think, quite yet, but I'm going to let the hot Ullman play against righties and let Judge play against lefties because he still shows some power presence against that handed pitcher. Fernando Ferreira was our first-round pick, and honestly, this is a pretty average draft across the board potential-wise. You never know what guys can become, and I don't let that potential number really cloud my judgment. I like to give guys a chance in the minor leagues and maybe even at the majors at times. So we'll see how guys' careers play out. For Elmer Blanco, looks pretty solid as mentioned in the draft. He's got, a major league eye with vision and discipline and clutch. Steven Maeda is a work in progress. He's got some speed, though. I will give him that. Jess Nieto is a former track star. Used to get it in Ohio, as Cameron likes to say. Does have some power against righties, and again, is a freaking speed demon, so I expect to see him, stealing 30, 40 bases down in double and AAA. Franklin Metzger, a solid glove, not much in the way of a bat, and Henry Diaz is probably the best player we took in the draft as our final pick. A strikeout guy, and probably the closest to being at the major leagues as of right now. Will we see him in 2034? We'll see, as Sam Becker is on the precipice of history. Up 5-0 here in the top of the 8th inning. The Astros have no hits, and Jared Elliott is going to strike out. That is only his second strikeout of the ball game. And he's been limiting guys in the base pass. Hayashi bounces it to first. Kevin Fader steps on the bag. That is a no-hitter through 8 innings. This is only, his 6th, 7th start of his career? Sorry, that was a shutout. That wasn't a no-hitter. I'm bugging. He ends up picking up the victory. He had 4 hits. My bad. My bad, guys. As Reggie Smith is now coming back off the injured list, and somebody's going to have to get sent down, and I think I know who it might be. Frank Wolf just hasn't been cutting it at the majors, a 4.5 ERA. And you know what? Maybe he gets another opportunity if another injury happens. I'm not against that idea. Facing our former playoff performer, one of our best playoff performing pitchers in this series, Luis Hill. He's going to give up a 2-run shot to his former teammate, Jasson Dominguez. Dominguez coming through hot in the first, couple weeks back from the torn ACL, showing no signs of slowing down as he approaches 30 years old. Albies grounds it to Judge in center. Why is Judge playing in center? Did somebody get hurt? Are we that desperate? I mean, I know he's got a gold glove out there, but he hasn't played center field since 2021. What are we doing? It's Alex Salazar gets a run. Anthony Villa going to roll this one to right field as Manager, can we get it together, bro? What are we doing? We shouldn't be losing to this Rays team. Jordan Walker coming up looking to bust this game wide open as if a 2-run lead isn't enough in the top of the 8th. Gutierrez gets him to sit down, swinging at the high heater. Quevedo pops this one up to first base, and Fader is right there, not letting the sun get in his eyeballs. As you take a look at the playoff picture, we sit in division lead, but the Orioles are right behind us, and the Rays are 5 games behind us, and a wild card spot. Not sure he will make it. The White Sox are in the running as we face the Arizona Diamondbacks. Austin Wells has been clutch many a time for us. Can't get the first hit for the D-backs quite yet. Justin Henry Malloy. Check swing, not gonna matter as Becker sets down another Diamondback hitter, his 7th strikeout of the game. And Looper Fido is looking loopy as he stares at a fastball, and Becker has a no-hitter through 7. We jump ahead to the 8th and face another former Yankee who's been clutch. He, unfortunately, will check swing. I'm not sure if they gave him the call as far as the swing strike or the call as in other words, it was in the zone. Pop up in the foul territory, and we make the catch near our own dugout. No-hitter through 7 1/3. Caden Wallace. Oh, man, gets a hold of this one. Hits it high and deep to left center field into the gap. It's going to get run down to preserve the no-hitter by a guy who does not play right field, Jazz Chisholm. Woo. Ken Becker complete the no-hitter as he has given up a walk. Andy Pajes, who was offered to us in the offseason, we said no thank you. Cannot connect. No-hitter through 8 1/3. Drew Jones, son of the now Hall of Famer, will fly out to right field. The long overdue Hall of Famer. Andrew Jones should have made the Hall of Fame in like 2015. Nonetheless, we are 1 out away from our no-hitter. Jordan Lawler is unfortunately going to strike out staring at the outside heater. Sam Becker becomes the 3rd youngest pitcher in MLB history with a no-hitter at 21 years old. He is the youngest Yankee pitcher with a no-hitter by a long shot. And yes, celebrate him. The 5th least amount of starts before their first no-hitter, 9 career starts. And I think that young man's future is bright, even though we have a damn good rotation. I don't know if he's going to stick around, but we are going to stick around in this series, and we will be taking on the Houston Astros in the American League wildcard matchup. Twins and Guardians, Phillies will take on the Padres, Cubs will take on the Reds, Tigers, Mariners, Mets, and Dodgers all have secured first-round byes. Hunter Green winning the win percentage lead, I don't know what that would call it. Anthony Volpe, 12 triples, which is kind of weird when you look at his numbers because he basically had 12 triples combined in the last, 4 seasons? We'll take it, man, because he's still getting better even as he gets up there in age. So we're going to take a quick look at the Houston Astros roster, even though I think I've shown them twice. Diego Cabrera is the overwhelming favorite to win the AL MVP at 22 years old, putting up Mark McGwire numbers, though not as a rookie. They got Emmanuel Salazar, Neville Dye, 2 very good pitchers. Brian Wu, former Mariner, Andres Feliz, looking a little shaky. You know, they roll out a lot of guys that can go the distance. Daniel Susac knows all about our Yankee lineup as he's hit very well against us last year in the ALCS. Jared Elliott, good second baseman prospect. So I could really say that the Houston Astros have really rebuilt themselves back into a playoff contending team. And on the bat of Diego Cabrera, they should fare pretty well. But we need to have something to say about that as we play them in the next episode. Again, a good young team that we face. We are more of a veteran squad with some good expected. Check out the next episode in the Yankee Dynasty. I'll let you later. Peace out.